When in 1966, they used to have a people's fishing club.
Oh yeah,
Little
we
article
picked up
in-
on that.
in
Yeah,
this-
was that a junior
Yeah.
champion? Yeah.
And it was, my father with me then, and it was, I think it was 66 mark. So the qualifiers were on Shrewsbury on the 7 on bonfire night. And you had to phone, the way you got into that match was to send some proof of a good day's fishing. Well, one day I went fishing Ramsey Mearside with my dad and all his friends in the Dormerville van. I'd hurt my leg at football, and my friend went with me from round the corner. Didn't go a lot. So as we got out the van, there's perhaps 9 of us there. And so all the lads were having a match for 2 and 6. But we were never mentioned, me and my friend Stephen Hurst. So we went down and we went the nearest pegs. We usually we go up this, no pegs, you just sit down, blow the whistle, you fish. They stop at dinner for an hour, they start again and it finishes. It's a real lovely day. So me and my friend didn't fish far apart, here to your telly mark. And there's holes in the reeds, in the candocks, lovely Ramsey Mearside. So as he's setting up, he said, no, I have to do this, Phil. So I've set up, and so I can spend a bit of time with him, I thought I'll put a big bit of bread on, chuck it in. Got the depth eyes. So I'm hoping Steve said, when the float's gone, Mark, £3 bream. Steve looks at me, I look at him, he's excited, wants to get a set up even quicker now. I just put another bit of bread in, chucked it in, continuing set him up. Boom, I've got another one. He's picked the rod. I said, Steve, you do it. So at the end of that day, Mark, and I was 12, 13 at this time. I'd never seen so many fishers that go 6 foot keep nets, Mark, the old knotted ones. Well, I couldn't lift it out the river. Couldn't lift it out the drain, Mark. Only 12. So my dad and that had come down. They didn't weigh him. They said, oh no, pointless weighing him. It's going to take us too long. They'd all waved theirs up, walking back. And they'd been thinking, no, Alan, I think we did, you be £1, we're £1. And they've all had perhaps £10, £12 mark. And they come to me, they were just gobsmacked. Dad's friends, what's this, Alan? And my friend, he'd had as much as all them had caught. And there was bream slime everywhere. Knackered, Mark. Never had days fishing like it in my life at 12-year-old. Anyway, we wrote this down. 2 of the old boys had to sign it. We didn't even take a camera, Mark. Sent it in. And said, right, he qualified for this. It's matches at Shrewsbury on the 7. There was about 5 or 6 from Leicester. There was a man that worked for British Telecom, who I went to school with his nephew. There was a GPO man, there was Roy Marlowe, Dave Downs, and you had to qualify at Shrewsbury. And I think perhaps the first 3 would go through to the final. The river was coming up like crazy, Mark. We sat there again, more looking like cocoa and coming up and up and up. Bonfire. It didn't stop raining. I've caught 2.5 ounce, Mark. Almost to the point. I'm drenched. My dad said, no, just weigh in, Philip. So the young lads, he's had 8 ounce chub. I'm second with, or third, possibly second with 2.5 ounce. Roy qualified for the final. Dave qualified for the final. Went home, watched the fireworks. Told him at school, and when the headmaster, my headmaster, was Ivan's headmaster, went at a different school growing up. Most beautiful man you'd ever met, Jack Curtis. He was exceptionally sporting quality. He looked like he'd come on at Oxford or Cambridge in his cape in the morning. And his reputation as headmaster with Leicester City football and as sport. There's no better headmaster to have. So he announced it, everyone laughed. In the meantime, we got a quadrangle with a pond in the butt. So he said, well, you catch some fish, Philip. Not the caretaker, go and put them in there, let's have a couple out the river. So he let me do that. So then it comes to the final of that, which was at Huntingdon, Manchester. And Ivan said there's 8 juniors in the final, so 2 must have qualified for it. So we goes there, and again I draws a peg with a willow tree right on my right, sun right in my eye. I think it were upstream wind, lovely choppy wind. But I had to be careful casting under this tree. Couldn't see my float then, Mark. Red, yellow, black. Couldn't get one to see. You'd see it, then it'd go, see it, and it'd go, because the water was going white, but nice and gentle. So anyway, I fished top and bottom, ran it all under, ended up with about £3 of little fish, lost a couple. And my dad's sitting halfway between me and the next peg where, and it's gone. But sometimes he'd lose the sight and it weren't gone. I'd see it. So he did help me visually. And I always remember we went back to the George Hotel in Huntingdon for the presentation. Ian Eaps was in the final. His dad might have been as well. And that's the first time I met him when I was 13. He might have won the final actually. Because we ended up on the head table. Never sat anywhere like it in my life, in this lovely hotel in Huntingdon. So that was a real nice thing to win. My last year of school, because I should have perhaps stayed on, but I didn't. But the headmaster used to let me go fishing Friday afternoon. He said, right, you can finish Friday. As long as you take your first year, you can go fishing, Philip. He used to get on the bus, and the bus conductor used to say, what are you doing? Put all my fishing kit under the stairs. You know, the double-deckers, Mark. What are you doing? Because people look at you if you're not at school. So I'm going fishing. I said, no, my headmaster said I can't. No, this is not right. Headmaster gave me a letter the next week. Wish I'd kept it, right? So a bit of a diversion on that. But the final end, so I ended up winning that when I was 13. And phoned Ivan up on the morning the way of drawing the peg. And he told me how to just do what he does down the straight. Because our local river allowed us to fish a style that suits other rivers, Mark. Very comfortably. Because we had a mile straight through Leicester, which is a very rare thing in all, and it's a canalised river. River goes, turn it canal, let it go back to river.
Yeah.
For rowers it's lovely. It is nice in its way, because you have to fish a bit hard when it's straight. No hiding places, only the far bank. And there used to be some hot water cooling towers from the electricity station that used to pump water out at the top of this mile straight. So all year, Mark, fish would breed twice. You'd have carp that big in 1960, where you couldn't catch them anywhere else. Caught one a pound or £2, you had a blessing of a fish, not one you'd get in quick and try and fill them full of food and catch others. You'd treat it like a real special afternoon fishing. So where am I going now, Mark? So what I was saying to you, I'd won that when I was 13, which I suppose was quite good in its day.
Yeah.
Did you ever know about them the People Fishing Club?
No.
And it was
Tell me something I don't know, you know.
because when that Ladbroke Super League, because that's when Ivan, in me going out of fishing, and Ivan says to me, oh, there's a Ladbroke Super League coming up. And I didn't think anything, he hadn't even picked the team. So Ivan had to pick East Midlands team. So Robin Harris straight away. That man will catch fish in any river you give him, he will catch your fish. Unbelievable. And we used to be in awe of him, how simple he made it, Robin Harris. Absolutely simple. Then he had Tony Scott, Burton, terrific angler. Smart person as well. Edgar Purnell, dead quiet Lincolnshire person. So Roy and all that's thinking. Then he's picked Trev Tomlin and he picked me. So they're all thinking, I don't know what to think, to be honest. So me and Ivan had a talk for the end of the season. And then he said, well, I put you in anyway for tonight. I'm just sitting here with you now. I think you'll be right. Just relax a bit more. Don't overthink. So we are working nights at the time, Mark. So we went for a bit of practice up to Chapel End Frith, which was just a lake, dead flat. Well, it's flat on the days we fishing, no features around it. A bit of bream fishing suited us. But what we went practicing, and we always had more talk than I'd ever had. So perhaps I listened to more, or it perhaps digested it better. But the practice for them was just so comfortable, clear, with all the people involved. Not all of us would get there every day for the practice. Trev Tomlin always would. Ivan would. Yeah, most of us would do a session on there. So we happened to win the first one up there. It was hard fishing, quiver tip. I've drawn a bit of a peg that sticks out. And I won the match with £9, I think. So we get off to a right good start. 4 matches. One on our choice, each choice. Our choice was Coombe Abbey. Thought we could bream fish and Ivan did. And I've not done very good at Coombe. Because it weren't a place we visited regular. Very shallow, big chuck, very big bream. Yeah, nice place. So we went and practiced there, but you couldn't practice on the match bank, you had to go on the other, which was the monastery bank, I think. So anyway, so the second match comes again, lots of practice, and Ivan said, well, you've won the first match, I've got to leave you in. And we'd all done well section-wise. Trev was the reserve, of course, I think because of team fish, well, leave it. And Trev were brilliant on the bank. You couldn't have had a better person for practicing, couldn't have had a better person around any of us. So we're fishing away on the second one, and we'd had a bet on the first match. I'd bet myself to win the overall. I bet myself to win the first match. Ivan had done the same. So, and we shared a bit of it between us and Trev. So we done well, and it was Ladbrokes, you see. So at the start of the match at Chapel End of Frith, I was 20-1. And Ivan said, that's a good prize for you here, because it's our sort of fishing. I was outside at the whole lot, 20 runners. So I said, oh, I'll have £20 on that, 20-1. Before I draw my peg, Ivan says, oh, put me a tenner on as well. I said, I'll share that with Ivan. Then we bet Ivan at his price. Tony Scott were looking, he hadn't had a bet or anything. So I was 20-1 to win the 4 matches as well. So I thought, that's too good as well, Ivan. I'm going to have £20 on that now straight away, Ivan. So he didn't bother doing that. So I had that on. So when we get to the peg, so Ivan had drawn as captain, and you got 1 peg every 4 pegs. So we had 1, 4, 7, 11. That's how we 4 sections or 5 sections. So as the envelope's there, I knew we got number 11 in the pack because someone else had drawn. It's open theirs and it's 1. And Ivan said, oh, we got number 11 in there. And they're all on the table, that sealed envelopes. I said, Tony Scott went nice. You watch this, Tony. Look in his eyes, you watch this for number 11. Pick the envelope up, gave it in to open. He says, go and put me £10 on your Phil. So now it's gone from 20-1 to 14-1. We ain't even set the kit up, Mark. And the lake, where we're drawing the peg is here, quite high up. And you look straight onto the lake, Mark. And it's a reservoir, so it's very barren, the ground all just flat. And it's lower. So his Ladbrokes are over here, and the cars and everything, and we're all set up. And they've got the bookmakers. And my friend Steve Warner's coming up. He said, oh, I'm coming up. He went out Friday night. He turns up at about 1 o'clock now. And he goes up, gets out his car, goes up to the bookers. He says, I'll have, what price is that? He said, for 2-1. I said, it was 20-1, I want to bet it. He said, no, it's 2, there he is over there. I said, it's a core tenner. So he's had a few. It's a 2-1 favourite. He's got 20-1, 14-1, 18-1, 6-1, all the way down more. And of course, they were taking bets down the match. We're going in very, very calm and slow. So we fished that day, 3/4 ounce bomb, 8-foot trail minimum, 18s, 20s up, little red worm caster. Jug out and Mark, on Trev Tomlin's again, master spring tip. Oh, you've hardly gained anything, Mark, but there's fish there. So anyway, I've got £1.75. There's about 5 of us got 1 bream. I gets another one, another guy gets another one. It's have 2.5 hours and I keep getting little knocks. So I says to Trev, I said, I've had enough of this. So I made myself, and everyone's been a bit tentative, put the stuff in at the start, an oddball, softball and all this. So I says to Trev, I said, one thing to that, it only can happen like this. So rather than make balls up and that, and I never used to do this, Mark, I've made about 6 balls of ground bait up. Lloyd Cole, what?
Davies.
Lloyd Davies, that's right.
Davies or Davies.
Lloyd Davies. So, yeah, very Welsh. Okay. So I've got Mark on basket, and I'm sticking out perhaps a yard more than the others. It just only a little bit, but it's an half important this yard, and it goes out and he ledges again. So I've got Trev's catapult, the stuff he designed before, and we should have took him in. Ivan should have had him closer, but Roy weren't. Couldn't happen, he should have had more. So I've gone on my basket and Trev's like this, what you can do if I said watch this, boom boom boom, and they've gone like that, Mark, and there's 2 in the air at one time. I thought I want him in quick, and I don't want no one copying me, because I'm either going to get them fish to feed in the next 2 hours, or they can piss off. I don't want them staying there doing this. So I could see as I sat down, Trev's got, you sure he should have been alright, I feel that. I said, yeah. So I looked down and you could feel the eyes on you, Mark.
They think, oh, our bet's off now.
Yeah, and that's it, innit? That's my last play, Mark. I've had 3 hours of little bits. I've done my section thing, and I thought I'll get bites like this line, only going back to an inch, Mark. Not more. Bigger bait, small drop along. Couldn't sort it out. So I put all this stuff down. Not a thing, Mark. 20 minutes later, it's gone like this. They're only £1.75, Mark. And on that's one. Then, as I've caught this, the ground bait starts going on. That's made it even better now. And I could see Ivan and he's seen what I'd done. He's seen I'd caught a couple, and he's, without saying anything, when Trev went down to him, before I've caught a fish, and he said, what's Phil done? He said, he's filled it in, Ivan. I said, I know that. He said, why? I said, he was getting little line bites. Didn't say another thing. So when I've got the first one, I could see Ivan out my peripheral, and I thought, can't mess these up, 'cause I hadn't lost the fish, I hadn't snared one and nothing, Mark. And it was like fishing a canal at distance. So I've gone 1, 2, 3. So I think I've got 4 bream now, Mark. Harry Searle or someone else, he's got 3 or 4.
Harry Settle, wasn't he?
Yeah. So they're
got all the results for these.
about the same weight, Mark.
Yeah.
Stan Smith behind there. Come behind me. He was a very staunch, like a big headmaster he was. Didn't know what he was about. So I've chucked him, Mark. And it's gone. And I got one. I thought, oh, this now definitely puts me in the lead. As I'm pulling it back, it goes solid, Mark. It's not just in like solid. Like you've run into your weight's at something. So I just took my bail arm off, put my rod down, and got another couple of balls of ground bait and dropped them where I thought I might be snagged. Looked at my tip and it's off again, Mark. I can't believe it. Comes in, and as my bomb comes out the water, there's a bit of line on it and a perch about 3 ounce. So people think that's the fish to think I've got. So I've netted the bream underneath it, then unhooked the perch as well. So really, I don't know whether I'd no double up, Mark, but that with the snag that I got. Yeah. So anyway, wins that match, goes to Coombe. Again, good practice. And we all draw to peg. And this time I'm in the bay, I'm not as far out as the next two. So I've gone a decent chuck. I don't know whether a feed or straight bomb. So within about 40 minutes, Mark, every one of us have got 2 bream. So Trev come by. I said, Trev, go up to that bookmaker's and whatever money you got in your pocket, mine and Ivan's, put it on our team to win today. And the betting thing was a big thing really with how I grew up with Ivan, with his dad being bookmaker, all that, but it was just part of what you do. But you know, you're going to capitalise on something like that, you've got to do it, Mark. So we were 2.5 to 1 to win the team. So Trev says, oh, I said, just get up there and do it now, Trev. So he's gone up there. Next thing, he won't take no more bets on us. Come to the weigh-in, 4 section winners, or 3 in a second. Really good. And I think this. So then, what was the southern venue? I forget where the south were going to take us. I can't remember. But they cancelled it. They couldn't get the water. So they chose to go Evesham as well, which we couldn't believe, because we've now fished Coombe. We've fished there on the bream waters where anyone can win if they're on the bream. But now we're going to Evesham, and me and Ivan love it. Robin Harris loves it.
Because Ivan he was 3 steps ahead on Evesham at that time.
That was just like the Straits, Mark. Down our local river, we used to fish close to the far bank, ball of ground bait, single caster, on the drop. We would catch rudd, roach and these carp that were pounding off. But that gave us, we didn't have the chub, Mark, and our river was a bit shallower. So soon as, when we went down Evesham, going back to that match, which might have been the Colt, I'm not sure whether it was that.
I think that might have been a year later.
Yeah, it's the very start of the...
2 later.
This is now, I think, 69, 70, 71, Mark.
No, I think it's about 76.
No. It is actually, Mark.
Yeah, it's about 76.
It is. It's 5 or 6. You're right, Mark.
Yeah.
So apologies. They're glad in the other things. So as we they picked that venue, we just went down in the week. Things went nice. Sometimes it was a bit stale there. But you'd never not be able to catch. But they used to think ground bait were wrong.
Yeah, they had this thing that it was a kiss of death, and they hadn't, because they were very copyist in the West Midlands, and all it is, they all, once they all believed it, that was set in stone, wasn't it?
That can go then, yeah.
Whereas Ivan thought, what do I need to do to catch fish? I don't care if it's right or wrong. Does it work? That's
And
all
also,
that mattered. He was different like that.
If you go to a river and follow how they tell you to fish it,
you're a step behind everyone.
not only that, you stop in why you go angling. Because when you go angling, you look at them 30 metres, you've absorbed what you need to know and be told. But when you sit with that 30 metres of water, it's just finding out how it works from the bottom, the ledges and everything. That's part of the day, what you do. And then the influence of the people next to you. I never used to, certainly wouldn't worry about it, because if they did do well, I would appreciate their interpretation of fishing that peg, similar to mine next to them. Because it's lovely, rather than the same method, go and do how you feel the river. If you feel like that bloke's right on his ball, I don't know what I'm doing, you do it. You practice, but you're only going to finish second. You're only going to be in that vogue of doing that unless you go regular and perfect that, if it's their way of fishing. So when me and Ivan went, when Ivan took me down there with fishing for that, and all of a sudden we've got the ground bait, we've gone in, peacocked and body waggler, and then we'd have a cocktail stick with another half-inch of peacock on the top. And always when you went in, that half-inch of peacock stick, you would know whether it's been held up or not. It was a brilliant detect. Sometimes you'd even fish to that mark.
That is brilliant.
It's an intermediate drop.
So I got a section
and we'll go fishing. Me and you'll go fishing, Mark.
I got a section on floats.
Oh.
I've picked up some interesting stuff that it's not in his books before, but I hadn't heard of that one. But I get it straight away.
And then when we morphed Trevin, knowing he's a BT man and very, very fine at doing things, and it has to be right before we go. Me and Ivan, Bob, get broke up. Me and Aaron had tied granny knots and everything, knowing the ain't gonna break to go in. Trevor'd been awful, but no, Trev, I'll get in. We've only got 20 minutes to go. We can get by if you catch him.
I've got Ivan's videos on pole fishing, feeder fishing, and float fishing. And he's tying the feeder on the end. He said, just 4 granny knots. And I'm thinking, you're doing a grinner knot or a blood knot and all that. That won't hold.
He knows it. He knows it'll stop. It'll keep it
come off.
Exactly.
It's funny.
And so we're at, so when it comes to Evesham, we goes down there and they're all going to spray the maggots on the drop. And of course, you can get plenty of mixed fish doing that. And also, it's quite a long cast. And the last thing you want to be doing over there is coming back for half a bite. You're going to waste a lot of time in the air.
Yeah.
And very important, when you hit the water, that first 6 foot of that bait going down is crucial. Because a lot of them 10 ounces will come up and 12 ounces will come up.
Full of those little chub, wasn't it?
Brilliant. They're so easy and dark, coming beautiful. So we fished it, we've done the ground bait. Now Ivan's gone, now put the ground bait away. He said, put it away. Ivan's even emptied his ground bait out the bowl, rather than looking a lot, and carried on fishing and sprayed maggots, because he knows it's going to work. Why should we carry on doing it, and why should we sit there and let other people do it?
So this is in the practice.
But they can still do this. They can still watch me fishing and everything with them. I'm still catching fish, but now I want to turn it on and put some ground bait. And they'll walk down there, they'll mix small ground bait, chuck one in, first cast, boom, 10 ounces. Because also the ground bait pushed the little fish out of the way. Fed them, got them out of the way. So we coming up to Evesham, and I think I finished first in the first one. I was 4th at Coomabber. I ended up with 30 odd pound of fish on the feeder. I forget who won that one. Then we come to Evesham. Me and Ivan really fancied this. We couldn't get it quick enough. He's drawn 6 or 8 pegs above the bridge and 2 pegs above the bridge. Ian Heaps this side, Ken Smith that side. So I think, that's a tasty peg, isn't it? So it gets down more. Again, it's a bit of a climb down that peg. Sits down. Couldn't believe what I seen on the other bank, Mark. There's a bloke sitting between 2 boats, fishing where that chair is. I was devastated. No, not another angler on the other bank.
No, because there were like
couldn't believe
there
it.
was some bits that was public bank on it, and there was little
Private
caravan
moorings.
parks and things like that, moorings and
Beautiful,
little caravan
nice.
park tents.
You seen below the bridge where the boats, where the run goes in, where the
Yeah.
concrete goes down, and the chain ferry below there.
Yeah, further down.
Beautiful big fish there. And the river then changes there. That town bit has a town bit about it with its straightness. So anyway, I've said a few things to him, and really I'm a bit annoyed. I'm thinking, I need some help here. If he's fishing, that's half my fishing gun.
Yeah,
That's right,
that's what you don't need, isn't it?
that's my main attack. So I said something to him, and he went, dude, he scouted and shouted at me. Next thing, he's walking over the bridge mark. So by the time he walks down the meadow, good old walk to come right over there. So he's come down then, there's a few people at the top, and he's come up the top, and he's given me some language. He says, I do understand it's a match, but don't talk to me like that. I think it was going to be worse when he come round. So I thanked him in the end, and he said, okay. So he went back and packed his stuff up. And so I was well happy. But leading up to that, one very important thing, Barry Brooks now, he's now Birmingham lad, tackle shop owner, very much a Birmingham lad. So he's with Ivan. He said to Ivan, one of the important things at Evesham, rest your peg. You know how you did that match?
Yeah.
He said, don't overdo it. And there was just me, Barry and him on a Wednesday. Might have been in that calf just before you get out the town more. And he says, Ivan, make sure you rest your peg, because on the inside you always can come inside and catch a 1.5 pound fish quick, but drop your stuff and your inside peg, make sure you start it, whatever it is, not in front of you, get it a tad to the right, just loose feed it, get it right. So as we start fishing that match, I've gone straight over, and I've got 2 waggler rods set up, a stick flat rod. It's gone straight over, within a few cast marks, boom, boom. I'm just catching straight away. Right, Lloyd spraying maggots, Ian spraying maggots. I'm a casting border ground bait and cast, double cast a single. So it just going well, and then the big ferry boat come by, you know, the one with the day boat go, sucks all the water up. So it's come by once, only perhaps an hour and a half ago, and I've picked the inside up. Nice few days like this. Oh, perhaps 5 fish in 20 minutes, 6 fish, another 20 minutes, couple. Even when I'm still catching them, I remember what Barry Brooks said, boom, put it down. Still been fed him, but rested the far back, straight over my first cast, boom. And I always remember, I've chucked my float over, and there's a ball of ground bait in the air. As it's come down, Mark, my float's gone under, and and it's a bite, the ball's hit where it's gone. I've gone like that, and they thought, people thought the ground bait had sunk my float, but just, I can see it now, Mark, it's in the air, and I see the float go down, the ball, 12 8. So I've had real nice days fishing. I ain't had a fish over £1.4, Mark. Lots of people watching, lovely sunny day. So I'm back on the inside now, and I think it's because I know the boat's to come back again. A couple of chubs, so boom, I've hooked one more. And the boat is about 1 peg above me. And it's like moving to the middle of the river. And that boat, so if you've ever been fishing when it's there, it's a good old sucks in and pushes the swell out. So I thought I only can do one thing. So I put my rod down under the water. The boat's come by, I can feel me go like that, you know, with the
pulling on it.
full of the river. So as the boat's got to the bridge, I've lifted my rod up, and there's a big bit of weed come just above my float, which is off the loose water. Bang, it's gone. But we've had, it's ironic this one is, Mark, we had more money on Ivan that day than me. And I suppose it was saying, it was the sensible call. How could you bet me to beat Ivan on when it's fishing on that? It'd be even me and Ivan sitting here, but we still had money on me, but not as much as on Ivan, because about 8-1 we were for the match, so we both thumped on.
Because I think, who told me, I don't know, Steve Warner or Steve Killen, one of them said on that match, I think Ivan said, go and put 100 quid on me. Mm-hmm. At 20-1 or something.
It'd be 8-1, yeah.
Go and put £100 on me. Mm-hmm. I'm so confident. He said he just emptied everything he had. He said 100 quid. It was like, what? Just stick it on me.
Because that's what I did with Trevor. I said, Trev, just go and get that money. We ain't got the chance to do this, Mark. It's never been done, has it? No. Ivan's dad, a bookmaker. Get out of the way. No. Open to dodginess, isn't it? If you bet anglers. So anyway, so as that day, it's quite right what happened then. And we've most probably had £40 on me, but Ivan has already put 20 of that on for me, on him, like I've put his 20 on for me. We never went home and one person had the money with it, no way. So, I've just bumped that fish mark, and then the match goes on, the weighs in. Ivan's got £22 10 ounce. I got £22 4 ounce of that.
Cool.
And that one fish would have ruined the bet mark. So that's after 3 matches, Mark. The 4th match, no one could catch a team. We'd got amassed that many points, we could not get beat. Team.
The thing I've got it in is I've got Angling Times in the mid to late 70s did some yearbooks, and it's got a summary of the match fishing, and it includes that series that you won. You won the individual. The East team won it, obviously. You won the individual. Ivan was 2nd or 3rd overall. I think Robin Harris was well up there as well. Tony Scott. You had all the money off all the matches, not every penny, but they were well and truly.
There weren't much missing, wasn't
much missing.
So as that 3rd match is coming up, our practice is still the same. And so you imagine this over a period of perhaps 8 weeks now, Mark. And so we goes up to the last match, and I draws below the bridge 2 pegs. Tough peg, Mark. It done a winning peg, but I'm in a section, right? I don't know whether it's one of my pegs above, one below. It does get a bit. It's changed with the bigger fish, but below the bridge it weren't the population. Who coming? So anyway, so I've drawn there. I think I've had £14. Ivan's won it again, £21 this time. He's bang on the middle bit, I think. So Ivan now has won 2 of the matches and not won the individual. He's going like this. And then he says, I finished 1st in one, 2nd in another, 3rd in the other, and 4th in the other. And I think ended up with 76 points out of 80, because you got 20 for a win. So during that last couple of weeks of it, Ivan, I've never not thought we can do this. I said, not for one bit, Ivan. But I said, look at the uncomfortability around us. Because I obviously needed someone when I won the national to give me a bit of guidance, Mark. Ivan and Roy had just opened their shop, so their priority and their newness of that, all Ivan's energy was in that. To the point it was very unbalanced. Massively unbalanced, Mark. And that's when you say, why did Phil stop match fishing? And I suppose me and Ivan understand it and accept it a little bit. Whereas I did disappoint him, but the times we had joy even outlasted it, Mark. Because when I decided to come back fishing after Ivan's art and everything, I said, come on now, let's go fishing again. We used to go to on a Monday night, we used to have some matches for 3 or 4 hours. And there's some stars there, Mark. There's Stevie Warner, Steve Evans, the world champion, that boy that won the world championships. He used to come up, right, who's over 12 peg, 3 hour matches. And a couple of lads.
Weston was the
That's it,
one.
right?
Yeah, he was fish for Australia or something.
That's right.
There was someone round here fish for Australia, and I said, you're English. Oh, well, I lived there long enough, I've got dual nationality.
I've been on holiday.
I said, you're just a Ringwood club angler. Well, I'm Australian world championship team. I said, he's a good club angler, but he ain't that good, yeah.
And fair play to him, you still got to win the match on the day,
Yeah.
but
you wouldn't get in the England team, mate.
no, not at all. So we had a few fishing times, and because match fishing had gone as them big rivers every week.
Yeah,
It really decreased.
In the late
It was too expensive for the people to go, because the biggest participation sport. We used to grow up with all different companies on a Sunday morning. The amount of coaches picking anglers up around Leicester, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it, Mark. So going back to where we were, which I forget where we were for a second. Yeah, so I goes back doing a bit of fishing, and we're going up one night. I said, Ivan, do you think he'll ever win a match again? Because they're all saying, hey, the methods don't happen. You can't just drop fish and come back and be any good. It just don't happen with fishing. Stevie Warner went, no, it's all changed, Phil. No, Phil, you won't go do these things. I said, okay.
The fish got mouths at the back of their heads now. Yeah, it's all different.
Absolutely.
Oh, roach is a roach and chub is a chub.
So we're going up the Monday night match one night at Wellham. I said, think I'll win another match? Ivan says, gosh, you get the peg, you will. Just enjoying the fishing anyway, ain't you? It's them that you want to win more than they want you not to win. I said, okay. So we goes up to this match, and I'm the end peg near a cow drink mark, and I sees a little few fish rising, so I put the matchstick on. Nothing else. Lovely 2.5, 3 hours. So it comes up to weigh-in, and Steve Warner comes up, and they could say I'm catching a few like £19 mark in 3 hours on the matchstick. No one's ever seen them fishing there. No one's ever had more than £2 of them. And it was just about the wind, just everything goes right. And sometimes you never see them fish again. And Ivan didn't come up to the weigh-in, so Stevie Warner did, and this other lad that used to come with. And Warner went, and the other bloke says, how long have you been here? And it was Bob, this angler. And he kept looking, he couldn't speak. And then he looked at the matchstick in the pole. No other rod set up. There wasn't another big kit out more. Because I thought I'd set the other one for you've only got 2.5 hours. You can't make too many changes, can you?
No.
So I won that one. Then we went Ireland. Then went fished a national again on the Ouse as well.
So where was that one with Steve Warner? What venue was that?
That was at Wellham. They used to have the
Wellham.
Monday night matches.
Is that a river or a lake?
It's a lake.
But with a cattle drink in it.
That's
It's
it.
unusual. I think a cattle drink is a
Yeah,
river, but
it is
alright,
dead
yeah.
unusual for
Yeah,
that.
you don't normally have cows in a...
And it was the Monday night matches. And I'll try and get them all names. Steve would know one or two of them. So just winning that was lovely. But then they have a session, a summer session and the winter session of the matches each week, add your points up. So I finished second in that as well, Mark. And perhaps had another couple of seconds. Although there were only 8 and 10
It's about
pack matches.
95 round about then. Because I've had his heart thing in about 93. He had his heart up then, I think it was, without looking at it.
It'd be going up 94, 95.
Yeah. So you've been out of fishing for over a decade, I guess.
Yeah.
Because did you pack up about, excuse me, about 1980?
Yes.
A bit after that? Because Leicester, the Leicester national team would sort of, it wasn't winning nationals anymore.
No.
78, 80.
It's when rivers change a lot, and I
rivers
think at that
changed,
time it becomes so expensive to fish.
Some of the likely lads had also sort of they'd either gone to fish for the Amal team, or they had business things.
A lot of them couldn't commit.
Dave Downs was more into his business.
Chemistry. Dave Rossi as well.
Dave Rossi as well. He was sort of a...
Howard, he went to work with Billy Lane. Did he work at Billy Lane?
Yeah,
I'm sure he was.
He started there around about 78 or 79,
Yeah.
might have been 77, because that's why he's living near Coventry. He moved to Coventry and he's been there ever since. He's hoping to come over on that Monday.
Oh, he will, we're sure. Of
I've
course.
spoken
Howard
to him a
will.
number of times. He's been on big holidays the last few months, but he's very keen on what's happening.
Yeah.
I want it as a celebration, and what we're doing with the books, I probably haven't explained this to you, is that the publisher, at the moment, we sort of sketch out, because he has to work out his money and figures out what it's going to cost to do it. There's probably going to be 500 hardbacks. They're just proper hardbacks with a dust jacket. Nice books. There'd probably be 1,500 paperbacks, because they're cheap to produce. And
Yeah.
the match anglers they spend 3,000 quid on a pole, but they won't buy a book. You know?
And,
But they'll probably be like £12 or something,
Quite.
or £14. But then what he does is he calls it a special cloth binding, and they're cloth. An ordinary hardback book isn't a cloth binding. It's a sort of, it looks like cloth. It's not.
Yeah.
And these are numbered, and they cost, instead of 25 quid for it, they cost 40 or 45 quid. But they're numbered to be like 1 to 50. But on top of that, what we're doing is about 10 cloth bindings that we think are going to be a different colour. It's only rough, it's not in stone. That will be, say, gold instead of silver, and they're for the likely lads.
Yeah, beautiful.
So Linda and Chris and the likely lads, including you and Robin, will get those. You don't have to pay for them, obviously.
Beautiful.
So that's your payment, and then
Very happy.
In about 3 years' time, when I know what money I've got, then Linda's going to get some of the money because it's without Ivan's name on it. No one would
Give
buy it
Linda,
anyway.
give Linda.
Buy the likely lads. But
Money,
no,
Mark. I don't want a penny for it.
But what?
It's
She'll
never-
get some of the money, but I don't know. It might make 200 quid.
It's the joy of what.
Excuse me a
It's the
minute,
joy
I'm
of what you're
expecting
doing,
you.
Mark.
Somebody's coming in. No, I think it moved though. No, it's not yet come on with me, but there was someone, this guy I haven't parked there before he moved. I'll get him to move. I'll get him to move from the drive. Right. Feel like that.
Have I blocked someone in, Mark?
No, you haven't. One of my dumb neighbours has parked almost opposite you and someone can't get through. If you want to stick your car in my drive, sorry
No
about
problem. No problem.
It's not your
Well, I
fault.
moved it round there thinking,
that. Yeah, it's a stupid neighbour. You got your key.
like, do you mind if I have a cigarette outside, Mark?
No, you carry
Give me
on.
that
Do
one,
you want
then.
another cuppa?
Hey, I'd love one, Mark.
Well,
And what
I'll
I'm
set
doing,
up.
Mark, I'm here tomorrow as well.
Alright, yeah.
So I'm going to absorb all today.
Yeah, you just sort that out, I'll sort the tea out and... well, you can just move round the corner a bit more.